Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding this hearing, as well as to our witnesses for being here today. This chart behind me paints a picture of the Biden administration's failure to secure the southern border, which by far outpaces any of his predecessors. This is a chart that shows every single president, first term to the first 38 months for the last 6 presidential terms, in cumulative illegal border crossings. President Biden created this crisis on day one when he signed his first 64 executive actions that have undermined border security and encouraged illegal immigration. Despite the unprecedented surge in illegal immigration, the Biden administration chose to deny that there was any problem at all. As a matter of fact, just 11 months in, they called it, quote, cyclical or seasonal. They continued to insist that the border is secure about the 28-month mark. Even at the end of last year, President Biden and his administration officials continued to downplay the border crisis in month 37 as just, quote, ebbs and flows. But 2 weeks after calling it ebbs and flows, and nearly 3 years into this crisis of his own doing, President Biden finally admitted in month 37 that the border is, quote, not secure. We've known for years what President Biden and his administration refused to acknowledge until recently, that our southern border isn't secured. No laws have changed, just the will to enforce them. And while they've been in denial, we've seen fentanyl decimate our communities. We've seen people on the terrorist watch list stream across the southern border. We've seen state and local government budgets strain under the weight of providing food and shelter. We've seen crime and with illegal immigrants assaulting police and even committing rape or murder. Last month, 50 men and women from Indiana's National Guard deployed to Texas to support its efforts to do what the federal government refuses to do and enforce our border laws. Because the sad fact is that every state and every community has become a border state and a border community under President Biden's failed border policies. My question first to you, Mr. Blair. You spoke about your experiences trying to secure our border through the variety of roles that you have served in. Can you share how the Biden administration's policies worsened under this border crisis?
Sure. As a Border Patrol agent and an officer on the Operation Lone Star, by inviting so many people to the southern border that he has, it forces or coerces every single agency along the border to deal with that mass migration. And so because of that, the rest of the border is left wide open for other nefarious activities, such as Mexican cartels, such as Tren de Aragua coming up from Venezuela. All the other criminal activities are now happening between the ports of entry because of that. The record amount of fentanyl coming through, you name it.
Great. And as a follow-up, what national security threats are posed by the current situation at the southern border?
Yes, sir. So every single adversary that the United States has a nexus to our southern border. That is China, Iran, Venezuela, Russia, to include also non-state actors, Hezbollah, Hamas. You also have ISIS, MS-13, Tren de Aragua. Every single one now sees that the Mexican cartels now are in control, and now they have the ability to now move into every single community in the United States.
Thank you. And Mr. Smith, you have led the charge at the local level to protect your community and prosecute illegal immigrants. What hurdles have you faced in those efforts?
The logistics of prosecuting this many people are just overwhelming for a county my size. You know, Operation Lone Star really is the only thing standing in between the citizens of Kinney County and the open border policies of Biden. Listening to some of the questions here today, though, it seems like a lot of the emphasis is put on the immigrant welfare. But being a budget committee, y'all deal with taxpayer dollars. To me, there's a huge message being missed here. I'm astounded at what I'm hearing today.
And how has your community changed as a result of President Biden's open border policies?
We no longer have a sovereign border. Our residents have to live in fear of hearing helicopters during the day, getting their kids in at night. A lot of outside activities are very limited now. We've transformed our entire lives to live with a security threat.
Great, thank you. Mr. Chairman, I would submit to you that the numbers don't lie. The numbers on this chart do not lie. President Biden created this crisis with the stroke of a pen. He can fix it with the stroke of a pen, and I call on him to do just that. And Mr. Chairman, with that, I yield back.